Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend workshop. It's so great to have you with us here today from wherever in the world you're connecting. My name is Carrie Ramsey, and I'm the project manager for the Weekend Project, which is led by Queen's University and is supporting women identifying entrepreneurs, primarily in the Kingston and Quinte region. But of course, during these workshops, we invite guests from all over the world. It's so great to have everyone on the call today. Welcome. Why don't we do a quick introduction just before we get into the juicy stuff with Cheyenne today, who's going to, of course, be talking to us about growing your small business through authentic branding. But we'd like to use this moment of the call to find out who's on the call and to really allow you folks to network in the Zoom chat. So I'm going to invite you, if you would feel comfortable, to go ahead and in the Zoom chat, let us know where you're connecting from in the world. And if you have a business, if you want to put the website, if you want to put a link to your Instagram or your LinkedIn, whatever you feel free to do, go ahead. Let us know what you're all about. And countless times we've seen collaborations and connections made in the Zoom chat. So let's go ahead and do that today. While you're doing that, I'll take a moment to acknowledge that Queen's University is situated on the ancestral territory of the Huron, the Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. And we always love to highlight Indigenous resources as a part of our weekend project, because of course we serve many, and in terms like hundreds of Indigenous women entrepreneurs through our network, which is so exciting. And I came across a podcast just this week, which I wanted to share with you. And the name of that podcast is Matriarch Movement. And it's actually with Shayla Willette Stonechild. She resides in Canada on Turtle Island. And so I thought that I would share that with you folks in case you are a podcast lover like me. So I've just dropped that link into the Zoom chat. And as we say very often, you know what, if we're going to be embracing equity, diversity, inclusion, accessibility, we want to make sure our bookcases and our podcast playlists aren't just full of the voices of people just like ourselves. So I encourage you and challenge you to check out that podcast or others. And please do that and let us know what you think. So thank you so much. If you're just joining us, go ahead and drop a note into the Zoom chat. Let us know where you're connecting from. Let us know if you have a business, if you have a link to that business that you'd like to share. We would love to get to know you in the Zoom chat today. I'm just continuing to let folks in from the waiting room. But at this point, I'm going to spotlight Cheyenne. So give me a moment to do that. You should be able to see her up close and personal now. Cheyenne is our presenter for today, and she is going to be sharing her slides on her screen as she loves to. It's just a kind of a cool thing she does through Prezi. So that's why I've spotlighted her. Cheyenne, we're super excited today to hear what you have to say. Welcome back, by the way. Thanks. You have presented to us before. And just for everyone else to know, Cheyenne is also a weekend client and is a vibrant part of the weekend community. So thank you. Welcome back, back by popular demand. I'm going to hand you the virtual microphone now. And thanks so much for being with us today and diving into this topic. So let's get started. Over to you, Cheyenne.
That was an intro. Thanks, Carrie. This is going to be great. I'm going to put my slides on and I'm going to drop in the chat a whole bunch of my links, including the name of the slides, because I know that's going to be the first question some people ask. This is a app on Zoom called Prezi Video. A lot of fun to work with. I'm going to be referencing a few things while I present. So I'm going to dump a whole bunch of links right now in the chat. Everything I reference is going to be there. If we're not connected on LinkedIn, please connect with me. I absolutely love connecting with other women in business and growing my network. And as Carrie mentioned, I am a weekend client, and I have been a weekend client for 4 or 5 years now. And I do not hesitate to credit my own business journey so much to the support and network and mentorship and training that I've gotten through weekends. So I love being able to come and give back to the community that's done so much for me. And I'm really excited about supporting other women in business, which you guys will get to know a little bit about as we go, why that excites me so much. So welcome to our 90 minutes together. Anybody who has been on any of my trainings or my programs know I am going to drop a lot of information on you guys today. I tend to give a lot and I'm a little intense, but it's going to be great. So get a pad of paper and a pencil. And if you're finding it's hard to keep up with it all, the replay will go out. Carrie will send it out to us. It'll be up on the We Can YouTube channel, so you'll be able to go back to it. Susan, I see your hand is up.
Hi, I just wanted, thanks for all the things about the slides. I can't access the slides. I kind of want to follow what you're saying, and I'm wondering where they are. I didn't quite get that. And
So they're going to be on my screen.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Okay, so Artist loves my intensity, which makes me really happy. This is what I love about the weekend community. So much of it is like a container to really grow into yourself, which is a huge part of business, which we're going to talk about branding today, which I really want you to see branding the way I see branding. I'm a marketer, but this is not about arbitrarily trying to fit your business into some kind of pigeonhole. This is like when you walk into a room of women and you can see that they each have something really unique and beautiful and valuable about them. Your brand is the same thing for your business. It's already there. It's about uncovering and defining and projecting that out. It's a really beautiful way to do branding and to do business, which is why I call it authentic branding. And we're going to go through that over the next 90 minutes together. But first, I will introduce myself. My name is Cheyenne O'Driscoll. I am a marketing coach and consultant. And I work with small business owners and entrepreneurs who are really hungry to grow. You're ready to grow your audience. You're ready to grow online. You're ready to grow your business and your sales, but you find marketing overwhelming and icky. Those are my people. Those are who I work with. I absolutely love what I do. I have been in marketing for 5 or 6 years now. It's a second career for me. I previously was in classical French cuisine, and then I became a single mom of 3, and I was like, oh, time to hustle. So I quickly built up a business and I got into marketing. And since then, I've worked with it's probably close to 140, 150 local business owners, entrepreneurs. I have worked B2B, B2C, product-based, service-based, online, brick and mortar. I'm what's called a full stack marketer, where I don't specialize in just one thing. I have the professional education to know the principles and the frameworks that we apply across the board with marketing. And the marketing system that I've developed is a 3-part authentic marketing system. It is so powerful and so effective for small businesses and entrepreneurs. My longest running client, who took a chance with me when I was brand new, and I started with social media, and now I look at that stuff and it's like, oh my God, it's so bad. But that's the nature of journeying, right? So it's a local gym in Trenton, Ontario, which is where I'm located. When we first started working together 5 years ago, it was really run down, had a really bad reputation in the community, which we're going to talk a lot about now. Your brand is your reputation. And it was making about $5K a month in revenue. New owner came in, purchased it. We've been working together with it for 5 years. We've worked this marketing system. A lot of it has been the branding. We've gone through COVID and all the shutdowns and some big box stores moving in, big franchises moving into the market. And now we are steadily at 20K a month in revenue, and our next goal is 25 to 30K a month in revenue. This is how powerful marketing and branding can be. And for my own business as a service-based, mostly online B2B, I am a single mom of 3. I have grown it while managing all of the reality that brings with it. I now make regularly between 7 and 10K a month. I have had 2 12K completely profit months in the last 3-4 months. This is how strong marketing is. I didn't realize when I went into marketing that I was giving myself an advantage in entrepreneurship. I thought I was just going to work for somebody else. That was always the goal. But as it plays out, I ended up building my own business with it. And this is what I want to bring to other women, especially because as a woman who found herself in a position of having been out of the job market for 10 years, because I was at home with my kids, my previous education in culinary was not going to work being a single mom. And I had to hustle and figure out how I was going to do it. It was marketing and entrepreneurship that allowed me to still give my kids where I pick them up at school at the end of the day. I still have time for them. I'm able to customize my work life to my home life. And it is so incredibly powerful. And I want every woman who has something they're passionate about, that is, they want to build a business off of, I want you to have the skills that it takes. And marketing is a huge part of that, which is what we're going to talk about today. So over our time here today, what we're going to go through is going to be being our own CMO, which is Chief Marketing Officer, I am on a crusade to have everybody identify as their own CMO. This is one of my big missions I'm on right now. There's a lot of common talk around being your own CEO, and we do understand how if we're going to build a business and we're going to have a sustainable income, we know we have to step in kind of a management role. I'm going to explain to you why being your own CMO is equally as important. Marketing is the growth engine of your business. If you don't understand your marketing, even though I'm a marketing consultant, I will tell you now, contracting it out without understanding is putting yourself in a very vulnerable position where it's quite likely you will end up spending a lot of money and a lot of energy without getting the ROI you need. And we're going to go really, really into that because I see it a lot. Next, we're going to talk about BYOB, build your own brand. I'm going to give you the pieces to create a basic brand profile. And we're going to talk about brand vision, brand voice, and brand value. When I create a brand strategy for a client, it can be like 26 pages long. So this is an avenue we can dive really, really deep into. I just did a 6-week intensive on it, which was 6 60-minute training sessions. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to give you the seeds of a brand, and I'm going to give you an increase in awareness so you can start looking at your business from a different point of view. You're going to understand that the value you have to your clients and customers is much more than the functional value that you're bringing. It's much more than the product that you sell or the service that you sell. There's a lot of layers to that, and your brand is going to be how you start to uncover that. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like when we apply it, because branding can be really, really intangible. I love branding. It makes me happy, but it's a more creative aspect. And when we're talking about business, we really need to understand what this looks like in action. So I'm going to give you guys some examples of what unbranded social media looks like versus branded social media, so you can start looking at your own marketing and your own communication. And you can be like, is this on brand? Is this off brand? And you can start to see the impact it can have and the difference it can make for you. So before we talk about what we're going to do, what we want to do, we're going to talk about the 3 biggest marketing mistakes I see people make. Because as small business owners, and especially if you're a solopreneur, you've probably activated the algorithm already that is feeding you sponsored posts for courses for like grow your email list and convert your email list for 10K a month in 3 months, that type of thing. This is what's known as buying a business in a box. Really, really common. It's going to be going, I know so many people that I eventually get to work with, but first they've gone through these things. And what I want is to shorten that route for you guys so that even if you have done it, it's part of the learning journey we go through, but you can avoid it by then moving into the next step, which is the actual solution to what you're looking for, which is marketing that's going to work, right? That's the goal. We want to know how to actually get marketing that's going to grow our business. So buying a business in a box is the first one. Shiny object syndrome is the second one. I just did another webinar on that a couple of weeks ago. Very common in business in general, especially common in marketing. Because of that overwhelm and that ick of marketing, sometimes it's more comfortable just to jump from one thing to the other than to really stick with something. And then the third one is believing the more is better approach. Another really common mistake I see. So mistake number 1 is that buying a business in a box. And this is where you're going to invest in something that is like a plug and play, one size fits all business solution. And it's going to probably promise you something quick and easy. Oh, this works for all of my people. This has worked for so many people. But there's no customization to your business goals, which is a part we're going to talk about a little bit later, or your personality or your resources, right? As a professional marketer, if I had a client hire me to do something with their email list and to try and convert off of it, and I went, "Ooh, I just saw a really cool program on Instagram. Let me go grab it and we'll use that." They would fire me on the spot, which they should, because professional marketing is supposed to be working with what the business already has. That email system probably did work for whoever is selling it with their business, their goal, their resources. They might have been much larger scale. They might have already had copywriting skills, or they had the budget to contract to someone who had copywriting skills. Even if you literally copy and paste their emails, it doesn't mean your audience will respond the same way. It doesn't mean it's going to be on brand for your audience. So I have had a lot of people who have invested in really popular courses that they felt were going to give them the ROI they expected, and then it doesn't work. And then there's almost like a shame spiral we can get caught in, where we're like, well, why isn't it working for me? Maybe I'm not doing it well enough. Maybe, my nobody really wants what I'm selling. And almost always what I see is that it's not a matter of a lack of market fit. It's not a matter of a lack of business abilities. It's just a matter of plug and play does not work. Marketing is meant to be customized. And then the second one is shiny object syndrome. Big fan of this one. This is where we're constantly switching marketing tactics and tools, and we're not really stopping to be like, well, is this really what I want? We're just, it's very reactive. It's, I'm going to do social media, and I'm going to go and learn this course, and I'm going to learn all about social media, and then I can go play around on Canva, and I'm going to learn how to use Canva, and then I'm going to do, well, that's not really working. Okay, I'm going to jump into email, and then you're learning about email, and then you're going through that process. And what happens is that we're always in learning mode, and then we're never in doing. And when we don't actually stick with something, we aren't able to get a level of mastery that it takes to see the ROI off of it. We don't see any results because we're constantly switching from one thing to the other, and we don't stick with anything. Professionally, when a marketer comes in, we decide what we're going to do very intentionally based on our strategy. And that's what I'm going to give you guys today. I'm going to switch your viewpoint so you understand shiny objects hold no allure. This is not about being reactive to what other people are suggesting. This is about evaluating, does this fit with my strategy or not? And then committing to what you're working with so you can really get to a point where you see the leads get generated, you see the sales get generated, you see the audience grow. You're not just jumping from one thing to the next. Mistake number 3, more is better approach. This is like shiny on steroids, where instead of dropping and moving to something else, you try to do everything at once. You overload yourself with way too many marketing activities or platforms or campaigns. You end up really overtaxing your resources, and you cannot effectively manage anything. This is where you're like, I'm going to do social media and email and blog and video and webinar and networking and print. And you just like, if I do more, something's got to work. That's not how marketing, it's not how we really want to execute marketing. When a professional marketer goes in, what we do is we sit back and we say, what resources does the business have? Who is on staff? Do we have a content creator? Do we have the budget and the time to invest in training someone to be a content creator? Do we have resources for contracting out? So if we are solopreneuring or we have a very small team, it's important that we are very honest, about the resources we have to allocate to our marketing. If you're delivering your product, you're managing your business, you're networking and all of that, you only have so many hours you can put into your marketing. So if you're trying to do 7 different things and you only have 5 hours a week that you can invest in your marketing, you're not going to get anywhere with those 7 different things. So we want to be very intentional rather than reactive. All 3 of these are very reactive ways that we approach our marketing. And the antidote to this, quite often I get people who have gone through 1 or all 3 of these mistakes before they get to the point. Yeah, it is Prezi on the slides. I have it in the big link that I dropped. The very first one says the slides, because I know it's always a question that comes up. They're so cool. I have a lot of clients who put good money into their marketing and it still doesn't work for them. And then they're not sure, but maybe marketing just doesn't work. Maybe my business just doesn't work. And it's not that, it's that we're doing marketing reversed. It's reactive, where we see something on social someone else suggests. We hear somebody else who has a business similar to ours say, well, this really worked for me. We have a coach that says, well, this is what I did and this is what worked for me. Instead, what we want to do is we want to put on our chief marketing officer hat. We want to own our marketing. As the business owner and the entrepreneur, unless you're going to pay someone a lot of money to own your marketing and to take on the role of strategically managing and directing your marketing efforts in your business, you need to put this hat on. This is how we are able to make sure our brand and our business is effectively connecting with our customers, and it's going to drive growth. This is important if you are at the DIY bootstrapping stage and you're doing your marketing. You want some kind of cohesive strategy behind it. It is equally, and I would even argue more important, if you have funds to allocate to contractors or outsourcing. Because if you are hiring someone to do your social media, but there's nobody managing the strategy of that, they're going to do what they know. And I have seen this really consistently. Social media is usually the first place we will outsource and invest. And I had 2 clients that came through my brand intensive, and we had some conversations before where we were talking about the money. They put good money into their social media. They had a good company, good agency doing it. It was nothing wrong on the social media part. They produced content, decent level content. They were willing to get on and have their face and do their video, but they had nothing out of it. And after we did the brand intensive, they both had an aha moment that I totally get why that didn't work. And it's because there was no brand in it. It was just a copy paste cookie cutter social media. There was nothing for the audience to connect to. And when we become empowered with our marketing and we are the ones who own our marketing as our CMO, we don't have to worry about that happening again. There's 3 strategies I'm going to outline for you guys that in an ideal world, you have an idea of your strategy for each of these. And the link that I shared earlier, there's a 3-day strategy sprint, completely free. I go through all 3 of those in there. So if today through the branding, you're like, this is really good, I want to do the other 2, click that link. You don't even have to opt in on email. It's just a landing page with the videos and worksheets, and you can get your 3 strategies so you can start to own your marketing and be your chief marketing officer. What happens when we have these is when you do move to contract out or when you're doing any of your work, you now have those 3 strategies to reference. After today, if you do the worksheet, I'm going to drop in here, you will have a basic brand guide. Anytime you do anything with your business or any of your marketing, you can reference that brand guide. Anybody you bring to help, you can give them that little brand guide and they should start to understand what your business is and what it stands for on a deeper level than if you just said, hey, I do this service, or hey, I sell this product. So you can start rolling your brand into everything you do. And that's why it's important that you own your marketing and you don't just silo it out to individuals, because they're never going to act as your chief marketing officer. It's not their role. Their role is to get you your social media, get you your email. They're doing like little departments of your company. You need to be the head of the company in terms of marketing. This is so important. Big brands like Starbucks just merged their CEO and their CMO role because they are so close to being one and the same. Marketing is absolutely integral to your business success and your business growth. Absolutely crucial. This is what my marketing system looks like. You can't really see the details. It'll be attached in the worksheet bundle that I send out. This is a little bit of an infographic that shows the synergy in the system. The first one is brand, which is what we're going to talk about today, your brand strategy. The second one is your content marketing strategy. And the third one is our conversion funnel strategy. This is all you need. If you're going to be your CMO, you want to know what your 3 strategies are, and they're not intimidating. They're really just breaking down what you're going to do and your intention behind it. When we try to decide, should I post on Facebook? Should I post on LinkedIn? Should I do an email? Should I do this? We're asking questions at the marketing activity level. When you do your marketing from a CMO position and a professional marketing position, you don't start the question there. The question starts with, where am I in business? What is my primary business goal for this quarter or length of time? What does that translate into in terms of a marketing goal? What's the strategy I'm going to use? And then we get to what marketing activity fits that flow. So that's the difference in approaching your marketing as a CMO versus being reactive and just doing whatever other people are suggesting or is catching your eye in shiny objects. So we're going to get into the 3-part authentic marketing system. This is what's in this infographic, very simplified, so you guys can see it on an even clearer level. First one is our brand strategy, which we're going to dive into today in a deeper way. And we're going to talk about the brand vision, the brand voice, and the brand value. Second one is our content marketing. That's all your social media. That is anything you do that connects you to your audience. That's your email, that's your webinars, that's your networking, that's your business cards. It's all part of your content marketing. And it's where most of us start, where we just kind of like, I'll post on social media. It's much more powerful when we do it as part of a system. If you find you've been posting on social media and you're like, nothing's happening, it's because you don't have the other two pieces. It's not that social media doesn't work. It's not that your content isn't good. It's that it's not being supported by the other two pieces. And the second piece is your conversion funnel. And this is like the pathway you lay down and you build for people to come into a purchasing container with you. This is you really creating a beautiful journey for them where you meet their psychological needs as they go through that process. Those are the three components. To put very simply, your brand is your business reputation. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's a really classic quote in the marketing world. It is, when we talk about our brand strategy, it's our intention for what we want our business reputation to be. I am a big believer that everything is created twice, once in the mind and once in reality. If you are not intentionally creating your business reputation, it's just going to kind of like be at the mercy of what's happening and what you're putting out there and what you're unintentionally cultivating. So when we switch into having a strategy as a CMO, we start to get really intentional about it, which means we can really make sure our efforts and our energies and our activities are intentionally building something that we want because it aligns with our business goals. Content marketing is how our business connects. We are not entitled to our audience's attention. We are not entitled to anybody in our target market paying any attention to us or what we have to offer. Marketing is the art of earning attention. We live in an attention economy. I'm sure we all know. We have a million different things we could be doing with our time. There's no lack of content to consume. Because you guys are here, like the gratitude I have that you are giving me 90 minutes of your time, that hits home for me. I understand it's an investment you've chosen to make. We need to view our audience in the same way because we are asking for their attention so we can connect with them. Good content marketing, you earn that attention. You don't just throw things out on social media and hope for it. And we're going to get into a really nice example of that later when I show you how to apply your brand. You're going to start to see what this means in content marketing. And then our conversion funnels is how our business makes sales. If you, quite often we're at the beginning stage when we're just worried about getting money in the door, which is like, I need sales. Sales is a part of marketing. We can create just a conversion funnel, but it's a lot weaker if we don't have a brand and content marketing with it. That's where we're going to do a little more direct sales. We're going to be like hitting up people's inboxes. We're going to have to be a little more pushy. I love marketing and content marketing and branding because it helps people flow to us and it helps people flow into our conversion funnels rather than us having to kind of like nudge them in that direction. It's a little more icky that way. But conversion funnels are where we get really intentional. We're not just brand and content marketing is about nurturing and connecting to an audience. Conversion funnels is about moving them into a paid offer. It's about really helping them understand how they can do business with us and laying out that pathway for them as they come through. If you're brick and mortar, this is in your store. If you're online, this is your landing pages. This is your book a call. This is your sales conversation. That's all part of your conversion funnel. So when we talk about branding, we're going to talk about brand vision, brand voice, and brand value. And what I really want to reiterate is one of the reasons I love doing branding with people so much is that it's already there. This is not, we're not going to go out and try and like manufacture, contrive, or create a brand. You're going to define, if you've been in business any length of time, you've had any sales, you're going to go in and you're going to define what your best fit clients or customers loved about working with you. That's your brand. We carry our brands with us very intuitively at the first stage of the business. Before we've moved into marketing, you already have a brand. It's just that it's unconscious and it's intuitive. It's the way you write out your emails. It's the personality that shines through in your webinars. It's the way you post on your social media. That will be your brand. And if you have a lot of one-on-one interactions with people, it's super, super strong, which is why one of the reasons when we're in the start stage of business, we don't need to lean too heavily on marketing because we're doing it intuitively. If you're having one-on-one conversations with people in person or online, they're seeing your brand just by feeling who you are and seeing how you talk and reading your body language, right? How you hold the conversation, that ends up being your brand. So what we're going to talk about today is uncovering. It's going to be about raising the awareness about what's already in your business. This is a bit of a journey of self-discovery, which I really love about this, especially as solopreneurs. Us women, we can tend to want to like, oh, let's focus on everybody but me. Let's not turn that around. But this is what we're going to do with our brand is we're going to really dig into what makes your brand valuable. What are people drawn to? The people that you want more of are the people that you want to pay attention to. So when we talk about branding, it is one of the more intangible parts of a marketing system. Content marketing is really easy. We can understand it's posting on social media, it's posting in your email, it's the lead magnet, it's the webinar. Conversion funnels are more tangible. They're a landing page, they're a sales conversation, they're a portfolio, something like that. Branding can feel really intangible as a strategy because it's not, and it's also the longest term ROI. In my infographic there that I'll share in the PDF, you will see it takes the longest time to get to ROI, but it amplifies everything else you're doing. It's incredibly strong. And it's really, really important for those of us who are small businesses and for anyone working in a tight economy, which is like all of us right now. So if you found it is more difficult right now to get leads or to get sales, it's because the nature of consumerism shifts when the economy tightens, and branding is one of the ways to give yourself an advantage and to allow yourself to keep connecting to the right people in the market. Marketing is all about respecting the fact that your market and your audience is having an experience and you want to be attuned to that. That's really what marketing is. It's paying attention to what's going on and making sure you're building a bridge to help connect to them. So one of the general advantages of branding is that it builds loyalty. If you have been in business any length of time, you should know the numbers and the logic of the fact that customer retention is really, really important for sustainability. Customer acquisition, new customer client acquisition is going to be the most expensive marketing activity you will ever undertake. It is always more expensive than retaining your clients or customers. Loyalty and increasing retention is a really key metric that we want to always be doing. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to bring our brand and to have a strong brand in what we're doing, because none of us is selling a product or service. People do not buy what we do, they buy why we do it. And we're going to talk a lot about commodity because this is a place that it does not matter if you sell coffee. I use coffee shops as an example a lot. If you want people to buy your coffee, you're going to have to give them a lot more than that. And consumerism is really a vote that people make for their values and the worldview that they have. They're not going to be purchasing coffee based on the cheapest price, which we're going to get into in a second. The other really big benefit of branding is it helps you stand out. Anybody who has been at this any length of time, trying to get attention on social media, trying to get people to open up their emails, they do find we have a higher success with emails because we usually have a closer connection with the people who are in their email boxes. But social media, especially, if you're like, I'm posting and I've got like 4 views on this post, it's not you. The algorithm is designed to do that. It's very based on pay to play now. That's the whole platform of the social media. That's their business model. That's what they're doing. But you can leverage it without having to pay to play by building a brand, because people pay attention to branded content. It gives them a reason to pay attention. And I'm really excited to show you the examples because I think it's going to be really, really clear for you guys, the difference between social media content that hasn't been given a brand and social media content that's branded. The other benefit that it gives us is that it helps us command a premium. Anybody who is a small scale business or solopreneur, we're going to talk a little bit about business right now. You are going to be small volume. We are never going to be able to compete at the price point of larger businesses because by nature, they can make 2 cents on a unit, whether we're talking service and it's your time, that's unit, or we're talking a product and that's the unit, or, you make the product, so it's your time and the materials. Whatever unit you're selling, you cannot sell cheaply to get people to purchase it because you're the cheapest option, because you will never build a sustainable business that way. Large businesses that can sell on scale, they can sell $2 cents on a unit because they can sell 20,000 of those units, and that's how they'll make up their profit. They can purchase things in bulk. That is their business model. If you are a small business owner or a solopreneur, that is not your business model. You can never compete as a commodity. Your unit price has to have a healthy profit margin, because if you still want to be in business in 5 years, it needs to be sustainable. It needs to pay all of its costs, and it needs to pay you whatever salary you need to make sure that you can keep dedicating yourself to executing your business activities. So this means, by nature, we cannot be commodity priced. We cannot be priced on the lower end of the pricing range. We are always going to have to be a more expensive auction, which means we're going to be a premium. And that's actually a much funner way to do business anyways. It's a funner audience to connect with. It's a funner energy to sit in. And it means that we have to have something that's going to give people the reason why our price point is more of a premium. And that is our brand. Brand help people understand what the extra value is that we offer beyond a commodity. So the other point that we have right now is that we're in a really tight economy. I'm sure we've all felt it. And luckily, because there's very expected patterns that we can look at when it comes to this. In a growing market where the economy is growing, we have an increase in disposable income, it's easier to sell because people are less risk adverse. They're willing to they're willing to throw money down on something like, maybe, I don't know if that'll work or not, but hey, let's give it a go. You don't have to give them as much to get them to move into a paid offer with you. When we're in a tight economy, the market is not growing. People do not have extra income to put to new things. So what happens is that in order for them to move into purchasing a product or service from you, they have to extract that from somewhere else they're already invested. And inertia is a very strong portion of consumer psychology. There's a reason why the prime times to get new customers is in major life transitions, because inertia has been broken. That's why new parents are marketed so heavily too. It's a great market if you want to scoop up as much as you can. Tight economies, we have very, very discerning consumers because we just have less money to work with. So we're pickier about what we do. This means people are going to take longer to be comfortable moving into a paid offer with us. And we're going to need to really give them a substantial reason why we're a good fit for them. And again, this is not about contriving. This is about, if you have people that you've worked with who are really happy with what they've received from you, you just want to connect with more of them. And in order to do that, your brand is what's going to connect with them. You probably had in-person conversations. They knew you through your network. There was some close proximity that our first customers have to us where they can unconsciously absorb our brand, and that helped them move into a purchasing container with us. When we want to then amplify that through our marketing, we need a brand strategy. So our brand strategy, the very first piece of that is our brand vision. This is where, as women, if we tend to prefer to play small, it's a more comfortable space to be, this is where we kind of have to crack that open, and we have to be a little willing to claim a really big thing. Your brand vision is your why. And that is what draws people in. When we pay for something, we're voting with our dollar. Again, we're not commodities. We're never going to be running on that level. As soon as you get up higher, anyone who's been in my courses, I talk a lot about Maslow's hierarchy. As soon as you get off of that basic of life level, we're now talking about deeper things like personal values and what we believe in the world. We want to put that out in our marketing because that's what's going to give people a reason to connect with us over another option. If people are that's my kind of world that they're talking about, I believe in that too. That's what creates a stronger sense of connection for the right fit clients. The beautiful part of this is that if they're not a fit, it polarizes them, and then you don't have to bring them into your world and navigate that tension that can happen. So right from the get-go, your marketing is able to put a stake in the ground and say, this is what I believe in. So With me, with my business, my really big vision, I do marketing, but what I really, really, really believe in is local consumerism. I am here to create a world where local consumerism and small scale consumerism is as common as it can be. I think it should be our everyday majority consumerism. It raises the quality of life. It increases a sense of connection, a sense of community, a sense of belonging. It strengthens local economies. It decentralizes things so that women like me can be in my home building a business, supporting my family without having to go and find whatever job, working for whatever corporation is going to make sure I have money in the bank. There's so much power behind local consumerism and small scale consumerism. I don't do marketing. I do that world vision. That's what I'm really, really here for. And that's what creates the people around me. That's what draws them in. They feel that. The authentic marketing is part of that. Everything I do from my business is built off of that brand vision. What I really, really like about brand vision is it helps us compete against shiny object syndrome a lot, because when all of these options flare up, when we have built a brand strategy, which is an intention around our brand, it means when an option comes up, we know like, well, does that really go with my brand vision, or what would this look like for my brand vision? It really helps us own our marketing and evaluate our options in front of us in a very intentional way. So I have a bunch of new type of programs that I'm working on, and every one that I decided, I said, okay, well, does this support my vision of empowering local consumerism and small scale consumerism? That was always the criteria I put it up against, and that helps me decide on what new offers I'm going to create. So it brings us a lot of clarity as well as business owners. And then that continuity as we go forward in our business, I know quite a few of us, we can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. I'm jumping from one thing to the other. My audience must think I'm just so chaotic and scattered. This kind of continuity, I see some smiles, it helps us know, and it helps our audience feel on the other side that even though we might be being really creative, there is a really common core thread. This is a brand, right? This is why you can have all of those big brands that slap their stuff on a bunch of different seemingly unrelated products, but it relates back to their brand strategy, which is why it works on a level. It's the same for you. This is how you start to feel, especially, I know a lot of us start with a personal brand, and we're multi-talented and multi-passionate, and there's a bunch of different avenues we want to go to. When we lock in our brand vision, we can discern if those avenues and channels are in alignment with it. And that helps us say yes or no in a much easier way that's very intentional. So when it comes to this, the question that you're going to ask yourself, and it's going to be in the worksheet, this is going to help reframe you looking at your business less in terms of what product or service do I build or am I offering, and more in terms of what am I building, what worldview am I here for, what is my vision? So what you're going to ask is, what do you want your business to become in the future? Don't play small. Like, let your imagination run rampant. If you want world domination, own that. If that's what you want, really let that piece of you spark up completely, because the more you are anchored to that, the more you're going to execute it. If you kind of like brush that aside or play small, you'll never have a chance to know how far you could go with it. And you will never tap into the power of that. There's a lot of leadership aspect that comes with being a small business owner or entrepreneur. You're really going out into a space saying, I stand for this. And if this is your thing, come join me. I have something that will help lead us in that direction. So you want to really step into that kind of ownership energy around that. And then the second question is, what impact do you want to have in the world? None of us got into small business or entrepreneurship to make money. I know that for a fact, because there's much easier, quicker ways to make money that are 100% certain. If you have poured your passion into building a business around something you believe in, it's because there's an impact. You, at some point in your life, either for yourself, people in your personal, professional network, you looked around and said, oh, no, we need like this. We need better. This needs to happen. We should have this. That impact that you started with, that push that brought you into building a product or service that you're now building a business around, that's your vision. So that's the piece that you really first want to lock into and start to have in your mind so you can consider it when you're looking at any of your marketing and communications. And then our second one is our brand voice. We're going to touch a little bit on the logo part, because your logo is not your brand. This is my little soapbox moment. A lot of us start off believing that our logo is our brand. It's a component. It's our visual identity, but is not our brand. Brand voice is how your business sounds when it talks to people. It's kind of like the character traits or the personality that your brand embodies. And when I say talk to people, I really mean communicate in any way, shape, or form. Visual communication, written communication, like any of it. There are certain personality traits we want to be embodying consistently when we are reaching out to our audience. This is the emails you write. It's the copy in your social media, but it's also the style of graphics you use. It's also what channel you're on for social media. This again goes back to why we don't start with the marketing activity. We start at the other side and we work our way down, because if one of your brand voice is very casual and very fun, then maybe LinkedIn is not the right channel for you. Although I will say now LinkedIn is definitely leaning more into a casual energy, but this will actually help you choose those things on the end of your activity. It's not just about the way you're writing, it's about the way you're communicating, which includes the channels you're communicating in. So I do webinars because my brand voice is intensive and informative, right? And I could not communicate that. I could not embody that in a 30-second, actually it should be probably like 10-second social media post. That's not going to be informative. That might be fun, it might be entertaining, but that's not my brand, which then dictates the communication channels I use. Your brand voice is gonna be closely aligned to parts of your own personality, because that's just how we build our businesses. They're really sourced from a part of ourselves, but it is definitely not the whole range of your personality. There are definitely pieces of ourselves that we do not bring to our business. And when we get more intentional and we define it, that really helps us remember that these are the pieces, this is the energy that our brand brings to our community. And the other pieces that maybe I'm feeling such and such today, maybe that's a place for my personal Facebook and not my professional Facebook. There's a level of continuity that we want to have in our business. All of these are going to be about creating continuity and being really repeating things, because if you think about your social media feed, especially in your email and anything else, the odds that someone sees any of your content or interacts with any of your stuff, it's not going to be something they're seeing a lot. So if you have a range of 10 different kind of voices or personality traits that you're putting out into your content, someone could take 6 months of seeing your content before they see the same tone come by again, which means they have no idea what your business is. They have no idea what your business stands for. And psychologically, we need to create a frame of reference in our mind for a business and a brand before we really feel comfortable moving in further with them. We want to have a sense of, okay, I kind of get this person's really friendly. This business is really professional. And then we'll know that, okay, we anticipate what we're moving into. So if we don't get really concise with this and we don't get really focused and really narrow, we're not giving our audience the opportunity to get to know our business and get to know what will be a good fit for them. And again, one of the tips I'd like to give you guys is that if you go into any feedback or reviews or emails people have sent back to you after working with you, mine those. That will be your brand. A lot of the traits people will specifically say, I get a lot of Cheyenne's so energetic, she really motivated me, right? That's one of my brand voices. And I probably wouldn't have come to that conclusion on my own. When we put on our CMO hat and we act as our marketer, you need to really put one foot in your business and one foot in your audience. I guess it would be like that. You don't want to have only your perspective. That's being a business owner. That's not being a marketer. So using our feedback that we've gotten and our reviews and kind of looking at that and saying, what do people keep mentioning? What's the piece that keeps being noted, especially if it's the type of clients and customers you'd love to have more of? That will give you a really good guide to defining your brand voice. It's not about arbitrarily being like, oh, well, I just read something that says funny brands make a lot more money than somber brands, and so I guess I have to be funny. If it's not a fit for the brand you have, then it's not your brand. We're not trying to engineer another brand. We're really trying to keep the integrity of the brand you have that's working now. So the questions when we move into brand voice is going to be, How do you want your business to sound when it talks to people? What personality does it have? You're going to want to pick between 2 and 3 personality traits and keep to them consistently. Keep them in the back of your mind when you're writing your content, when you're deciding your business things, any of your business activities. Really be like, does this line up? One of mine is authenticity, right? I'm very authentic genuinely as a person. That's my energy, but it's also how I do my business activities. So I, just as much as anybody else, I can get pulled into like, oh, use this tactic and use this, like all the icky stuff. They're like, sense of urgency and all that. And I'm like, but that's not authentic. It's not, it doesn't line up with my brand. And the moment I do that, I have now violated the brand reputation I have built and the connection I've built with the right fit audience, because now I'm stepping out of their expectations. This is the power of your brand voice. Really, really important and very awesome. Brand value. This is a really fun piece. And it's something I want you to also remember that you can apply to every product and service you offer individually, as well as your brand in general. And what this is, it's the special benefits that you offer to your customers or clients. This is, you're not selling a cup of coffee. I'm not selling marketing. That's the functional, maybe feature level of what we're doing, where the cup of coffee is 500 milliliters and is made from French roast or whatever it is, right? That's the feature level. What we are really selling is going to be on a deeper level, and it's what's going to set us apart in the market, which we talked about why that's so important earlier. It's going to really come down to what's known as the benefits ladder. So the bottom rung in the benefits ladder is your functional or feature benefits, and then we move up to the emotional benefits, and then we move up to the community of societal benefits. And there's also a bit of like self-actualization, which in my intensives, I go into a lot of the psychology of this. But I want you to remember, people are not buying your product or service. They're buying something that it changes in them. Even as simple as something as a cup of coffee, if people were literally just buying for the feature or the function of it, they would go to the cheapest price or the place they're most habituated to. Habit is a huge part of marketing. They would go and find whatever got them the basic level of standard they needed for their feature for the cheapest price. That is not the game any of us are going to be playing. So what we need to do is we need to dig deeper, and we need to communicate the deeper value that we have. And what I love about small business owners and entrepreneurs is that you guys all have deeper value. It's built into the way you do business. It comes from the level of depth of caring that you have around what you're offering. It's usually something you're personally very passionate about. And because we're so close to our business, the worst thing we want to do is give someone a low value product or service. We know that that's going to come back to reflect on us, and we're aware of that, and we're sensitive to it. So you probably have some really beautiful benefits to your product and service that you're not necessarily communicating yet. And that's going to be your brand value. So for me, for example, I offer marketing. I do marketing strategies for my service clients. I do coaching. I have training programs. I have intensives. I have a boot camp, which is in the link there, campaign boot camp. But that's like the feature functional benefit. The emotional benefit, and the reason most people end up working with me, is that I have a way of helping them feel clear on their marketing, helping reduce the overwhelm, helping them feel excited about their marketing. It's a lot of resistance to wanting to market, and the way that I work with people and the way I approach marketing helps get them into an emotional place where yes, I'm really excited to do this now, and I feel like it's manageable. That feeling level, excuse me, of the value of my brand value, is the real reason people choose me over another marketer. There's all kinds of other options for a marketer that will create a 12-month annual marketing strategy and plan. There's all kinds of other marketing programs you can go into, right? I am never going to compete with that based on a feature functional level. It's important to give that information, but it is not what's going to make people decide to choose to work with me. The right fit people, and this is the beautiful part of it, is that the people you love to work with, when you put this front and center, they get drawn in, as opposed to people that are like, oh, that's not really my kind of person. How did that connection happen? When we're able to to really own these deeper levels of what we love to do, it means that we're able to make sure our content is reflecting that to our audience. So the audience gets to kind of self-select as they move through your marketing and your communication. And anybody that's not a really good fit, or they're not willing to see how it could work, they'll fall off and they'll go find someone that's a better fit for them. So this is really nice for us on the other end, because once we get someone in our store, or we get someone in our Zoom meeting for a lead generation call, they're much more likely to already be somebody that we're probably going to be a fit to work with, and it's going to be our really good fit clients. It's one of the things I really love about this. So when we look at defining our brand value, what we want to do is you want to start asking, what benefits do your customers and clients get from your business? How do you help in practical and emotional ways? I do find quite often it's kind of those emotional ways that we're a little hesitant to claim, because it feels a little like it's a little egotistical of me to say that I help people, feel a certain way. But I'm going to say 100% it's true. It's the way you're making people feel that it's causing people to be positively happy with the experience of working with you. And it is that perception that you're going to give them that feeling that's causing them to move into a container or shop with you or whatever it is. Or emotion. Buying is a very emotional experience. I talk a lot about the bridge in my stuff. When someone comes to us, before they make a decision, they're in a current state. And after they make a purchase, they're in their desired state. And the bridge is what we offer them that takes them from the current state, which is always there's some form of wanting or desire or lack, because they're looking for something to bring into their experience. And then what we give them brings into the desired state, which is a state of fulfillment and satisfaction and improvement, right? So we can market based on the positive or the negative. I'm a big fan of the positive. I think that's a much better way to attract people who are empowered and ready to really own what they're doing. But even as simple as something like a sandwich or a cup of coffee, you're like, that's a food item, right? Like, well, my past is in classical French cuisine, so I know the emotions of food. Like, food is a full experience. But even if we're selling something like a sandwich, we can kind of in the back of our minds be like, no, I'll just tell them, freshly baked bread comes with lettuce. I have a deli down the road from me that does this, and they're amazing sandwiches. But what we're really desiring emotionally is a shift from hungry, a state of hunger. It's a psychological or a physiological state. But there's also a state of like, I don't just want to eat anything. I don't want to just cram anything into my mouth. I would really like to think, it's at least decently healthy for me. I'd like to feel, pride over the food choice that I have. I'd like to feel an alignment over the food choice that I made. And that is actually what a freshly made bread or sandwich made on freshly made bread with good, organic, wholesome ingredients offers. It's not a sandwich. It's a transformation from craving a type of food that feels personally aligned to your values. And that's actually the emotional journey we go on. So if we're selling something like a sandwich that has those places, that has those traits and those features, we don't want to talk about it's 2 slices of Italian white bread and 40 grams of roast beef. We want to talk about how wholesome the food is. We want to talk about how locally sourced the food is. We want to talk about that deeper experience and deeper value behind it, the deeper benefits. So the practical way would be, we fed you, you now have a sandwich to eat. And the emotional ways is about that sense of supporting local and eating good food and really enjoying your lunchtime instead of just shoving anything into our face, right? So that's the level of value that we want to get into. And in the example, I'm going to dig into that a little bit more so you can kind of see it in action. And now we get to our logo. In an ideal world, we do not do our logo first. I know a lot of us do start with that, and that is okay. In an ideal world, our logo is actually based on our brand vision, our brand voice, and our brand value. Because this is the reputation we are going to intentionally cultivate in our market and with our audience. So in an ideal world, we start with this and then we turn it into our visual identity, which is our logo, our fonts, and our colors. If you have not done it that way, that is a-okay. I would actually really, really, really encourage you not to fuss too much over your logo. I find this is another place where we spend a lot of time messing around, trying to get fonts and colors and like trying 7 different flowy script fonts. And we spend a lot of time on this when it really does not matter that much. Continuity is the most important part of it. If you are not a graphic designer, I know Kat is, so she has an advantage, but if you are not a graphic designer, you're not going to be able to create a logo on that level. It's a skill set. It's a really beautiful, creative, artistic skill set. Save the really great logo for later when you're ready to invest and have a graphic designer created. I had a graphic designer create mine. I will not show you my first ones that I created because they're really embarrassing, but they were good enough to start with. If you do not have your brand identity, I'm gonna call you out now. There's no excuse not to. If you have not locked in a simple logo, a couple of fonts, and a couple of colors, you need to do that. You are doing your own marketing activities and injustice, and you are making it harder to grow your business. And you're going to see why in a couple of minutes. All you need is a simple logo, 2 fonts at minimum, a header font and a body font, and 2 to 3 colors. That's it. Just pick it, lock it in the worksheet I'm going to share. There is what's called creating a brand asset folder. I want you to get them all and put them in one place, put them with your brand guide, and then whoever sits down to do your work and goes into Canva, if you're doing it yourself, if you're getting help, if you're getting your granddaughter to do it, if you're getting a friend to do it, whoever is doing it, give them this folder. Make sure they use your logo, they use your fonts, and they use your colors. Do not worry about perfecting it. Just worry about using it consistently. You're going to see in a second why that's absolutely so important. There's 30 comments in the chat. I wish I could read them. I have FOMO right now. Okay. Actually, I'm going to do a little recap because that's important. So, 3-part authentic marketing system. As your CMO, putting on your CMO hat, owning this, whether you're doing your marketing, whether you have a contractor doing your marketing, these are the 3 strategies you should have an understanding of. And in my 3-day strategy sprint, the first day is branding. It's a lot of what we did today. So if you do this today and you want to continue, you get credit. You can skip over the first day, go right to the second. Second day is the content marketing. Third day is the conversion funnel, and you can create a little micro strategy for each one of those on that landing page. No email opt-in, no nothing. If you know anybody else that would benefit from it, please share it. I just want you guys to have the understanding of what it is to act as your own CMO so that you can stop wasting any of your time or energy siloing out things and just like going through shiny object syndrome and everything else like that. So really start to look at your business in terms of what is my brand strategy, what is my content marketing strategy, and what is my conversion funnel strategy. These are the 3 pieces. This is all you need. Everything that you hear about marketing fits into one of these. This is the main overview. This is how we stop marketing from being completely and utterly overwhelming because it's all little individual pieces. In branding, we have our brand vision, which is that really big, beautiful worldview that you are somewhere in your heart, you hold a really big flame for. And we want to activate that. And we want to bring that energy out into your marketing and communication. You really want to own that. Then we have our brand voice, which is the type of personality and the type of character traits we really want to be embodying in everything we do in our communication. And again, consistency is the biggest power in all of these. Once you nail it down and you do it consistently, that's when you're going to be able to really start to watch your audience grow, your email grow, your DMs grow, your leads grow, your sales grow. And then your brand value, which is digging in deep beyond just the practical benefits that you bring people, but what are the emotional benefits you're bringing people? And to go into these, if you have feedback, you have reviews, you have testimonials, spend some time in there. If you are an AI user, a nice way to leverage ChatGPT is make a giant document, copy and paste every piece of review and feedback you have, copy and paste it all into ChatGPT and ask it to find common themes. Ask it to pull out common character traits that people appreciate. Ask it to find that and to mine the data for that. And you'll get a really concise version of that. I love ChatGPT for that kind of stuff. So, and then we have our font and our colors and our logo. If you don't have it, get it. Don't spend a lot of time playing around with it. Really just good enough is good enough. As you build your business, it then becomes a really fun prize you get to give yourself after you've reached a certain level of profit. Now you're going to go invest in a really good graphic designer to build you a logo that allows you to rebrand and do a really fun rebranding campaign. So let's pretend we are a coffee shop owner. We've had our coffee shop, the Bean There Cafe. I like making it pretend businesses. It's like my idea of a good time. I do this for fun. We own Bean There Cafe. We're in a mid-sized city, Southern Ontario. It's where I live. We've been open for a couple of years. We have our regulars. We have our foot traffic. We have our neighborhood traffic. Things are going decently. We're like, okay, I really need to step up my marketing game. I really should be using social media, right? We're like, I know, I should. I've avoided it. Now that things have calmed down from the startup phase, time to do this. So what I'd really like to do is, I know from my business, what I'd like to see is I'd like to have people more aware when we have a new drink. And my second one is I'd really like to increase the sales of the lattes. They're a really easy item to produce. The profit is good and people really love them. So let's focus on latte sales. And the third one is I'd really love to get some suggestions and feedback from our customers on what kind of drinks they'd like to see next. So we hop on Canva, as we all do. Canva has been the biggest winner in the entrepreneurial expansion. And we're like, okay, pink is my thing. So, we pick some pink Canva templates and we say, okay, for our new drinks, let's tell people to try our new drinks, stop by today. And I have grossly simplified this, but this is not too far of a representation for how we start to initially use social media sometimes. And then our lattes, we're going to tell them our lattes are delicious, Maybe we'll write in the post, come on down, here's our address. And then to ask for feedback, we're going to say, tell us what to make in the comments, please, because we're Canadian and we have really good manners. If you're on social media and you're scrolling, Monday you see this, Wednesday you see this, Friday this comes up, you have no idea these are from the same business. They do nothing to connect with you. You're going to scroll right past them because they look like every other piece of social media that's out there. There's nothing that resonates. There's no brand. Now, we sit down as the owner of the Bean There Cafe. Yeah, Canva defaults, right? Poor Canva. I'm slamming Canva. It's a beautiful program. I love you, Canva. I use Canva for everything. We sit down and we create this basic brand profile, like what I'm going to drop in the chat once I'm done here. We define our vision as the Bean There Cafe. We're more than a coffee shop. It's really about being a central hub in downtown, and we thrive on community interaction. That's our big picture. We have exceptional coffee, we have homemade pastries, and we pride ourselves on being a place where conversations spark and connections deepen. That bigger worldview is about connection and conversation and community and collaboration. And to support that, our voice is going to be warm and inviting and playful. It's going to be designed to make sure our visitors feel at home and like they're really a part of the community. And our value, I've gone really deep into this because I want you guys to see the levels of value. Functional, we've got really good top-notch coffee, fresh made pastries. People love our products. Emotional, we have a comforting place for people to go. They feel really welcomed and loved. And you can see the continuity between vision, voice, and value here. It's all meant to be holistically integrated. Social value is a gathering spot for the locals. There's a sense of community. We encourage customers to contribute ideas. We want feedback that shapes our services and our atmosphere. This is collaborative. Self-expressive value, we really allow people to express their support for community-focused businesses. Again, people do not buy what we do, they buy why we do it. People will shop local because that's a value they hold. Now, we have this basic brand guide. We sit down as the owner with our Canva, because we still love Canva. It's us, not you, Canva. And we say, here's our goals again. We want to increase awareness of our new drinks. We want to see an increase in latte sales. And we want some feedback and suggestions from our clients around what kind of drinks they'd like to have. We make a little logo. We decide on some colors and some fonts. And now we go back to social media. And now we have branded social media. It's not just about the visual. You can see visually, it already looks a lot better. Now it's, hey, new drink. Have you tried the velvet vanilla latte yet? Now it's a conversation. Now you're not just telling people. Now you're asking your clients, you're asking your customers, have you guys had a chance to try this yet? And instead of a simple basic graphic, we've now taken an actual picture of our actual cup on our actual outdoor picnic table that our actual customers can go down, purchase their vanilla latte, sit down here and take the same picture. There's a sense of connection and a sense of community. This is a stock photo that I use, but that's the idea behind it. And to promote our lattes, we do a staff pick. Emily is the actual barista. We're going to use her actual face. This is the person people will see when they walk downtown and they walk into our business. Emily's probably going to share this on her social media. People who know Emily in her social network will share it or comment. People who have been served by Emily and love her big friendly smile are going to comment on it. Now, instead of telling people we're about community, we are embodying our brand of being about community and about sharing and connection. And then when we move into asking for that vote, what we do is we say, help us choose our next seasonal drink. It's a collaboration now, where it's a back and forth, it's reciprocal. It is, again, it's showing community, it's showing conversation. It's really embodying those brand values and voice and vision rather than just posting something on social media. So that is the difference that we have when our social media is branded. Same three objectives. We're still trying to raise awareness about our new drinks. We're trying to raise sales of lattes. And we're trying to get suggestions and feedbacks for new drinks. But because we've added the visual identity and we've added the brand strategy, this is something, if you're scrolling through this, Monday, this pops up, Wednesday, this pops up, Friday, this pops up, you are going to start to build an identity of this business in your town. You're going to start to have a sense like, oh, look, they feature their barista. That's so sweet. Emily looks like a really nice person. I like the style of that cup. I like that it's recyclable. I like that it's outside. I like that they're asking, hey, have you guys tried this? Even if we don't go downtown and walk into this store right this moment because of these social media posts, which is not a common thing that happens on social media. It's a brand awareness. What happens now is people who are scrolling through their Instagram, they're slowly getting pieces of your brand. They're slowly getting to associate your brand with this warm, friendly, welcoming, community-based identity. So when they're walking past and they're like, oh yeah, I remember seeing them on social media. That feels like my type of place. The people who this is the kind of business they want to go into, they're now going to know that that's that type of business. They now have a sense of your brand. If they're only seeing these on your social media, they have no idea who you are or what you stand for. All of those things are still true. It's still a warm, welcoming, community-oriented environment. The brand is always there, but this communication and this marketing is not doing it justice. It's not giving people the opportunity to know the brand. So they will walk right on past unless they happen to be in a space where they just need a cup of coffee. But you are not going to raise the general brand awareness of your community or your audience. And this works online. It works regardless of whether you're talking an online community, a local community. These principles apply across the board. That is my spiel. I think good. Perfect timing. I wasn't sure how to do for timing. So thank you. There are so many comments in the chat. That is really.
I made a note, a couple of questions so we could go back to them, Cheyenne. So thank
Perfect.
you so much. So I know if you were anything like me, you were taking mad notes, and I did put into the Zoom chat a couple of times that the YouTube channel will have the replay of today's workshop, but you have to go to the YouTube channel. We don't send it out individually. So I did post in there. If you can't find it or something, just email me later this afternoon. It'll be up by this afternoon. A couple questions that were asked. Let me just go back. Claire was asking, you must have mentioned bridging at some point, because the question says, so is the bridge, or I guess the goal here, to take people from I need to I'm satisfied? Is like there, I think you must have mentioned that. Do you want to talk a little bit that slightly a little bit more?
Yep, I'm all about the bridge. So one of the common mistakes we make when we're trying to promote a product or service is we talk about the product or service, which is the bridge. People do not care about our bridge. That's what we care about. People care about where they are and where they want to be, and our bridge is the mechanism we use to get them there. So when we're communicating and marketing, we really want to talk more about where they are and where they want to be. And yes, when we deliver that product or service, our job, if we want to be in business in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, is to make sure they go from wanting to having what you promised delivered. That is your role as the business owner, is to make sure that loop is completed.
Love it. So transformation. Yeah, I love it. We're not about selling the coffee. We're selling the transformation that the coffee gives us, whatever that might be. Thank you. Kat asks also, when it comes to websites, so you talked about branding, the visual identity. She's asking a question around using the same fonts. What do you recommend? You know, let's say you pick, I think it was around the conversation around picking sort of the temporary logo. So should your branding be consistent across your platforms? How do you choose those fonts, or are you just going as close as you can get?
Consistent. Sometimes I will admit there are website platforms that just don't give you if you have a customized font. But usually if you pick a common font for your body, you can use it across any of the platforms. But as consistent as possible is always the goal, because people are building up an association of you and your brand based on those visual pieces.
Yeah. And you mentioned it many times, consistency. People underestimate the value of consistency. So for sure. Okay. Those are the 2 questions that I noted. There might have been others that I missed. So I would invite anyone to drop into the Zoom chat their question, or you can raise your hand. I guess using the button would be best because, but I'll scroll through. Does anyone have a question? I'm sure there are some as we are digesting all that has just been shared with us. Does anyone have a question that they want to put in the Zoom chat? Let's just pause to allow you to do that, or to raise your hand, and I'll try not to miss anyone. Oh, I saw a physical hand. Hold on. Who just raised? Oh, there we go. Claire, go ahead.
Okay, so as a solo person, there are no other people in my business. What I offer is a personal service. And I've been having this conversation a lot with professional guides or life coaches or other people that provide service. So many of them are going towards using themselves as the brand. So the business is their name. Everything is about them. And so I'm just curious if there are any sort of schools of thought around when that's a good idea versus sticking with the business name that you've chosen, or marketing the business as opposed to the person.
If you are a service provider, whether you want it to be or not, your personal brand is your brand. As much as we like the idea of distancing ourselves by giving it a name and identity, it is you, because it's based off of how you're showing up and everything. And especially if we are in service, people need to know what it's like to interact with us. So it's really important that, as opposed to trying to put a logo as the face, you will find it's very, very hard to get leads or sales in that way. It's really going to hold back the growth of your business, because again, it's about being attuned to the audience and their needs. And if we're asking them to move into anything that is about having service from us, we're asking them to move into a more personal interaction with us, which means during their journey in our marketing and communication, we actually want to be putting ourselves front and center, so that the people who are a fit and do vibe with us are able to come forward, and those who aren't, or they can go find someone that's a closer fit. So in terms of how easy you want to make your journey into building your business, if you're a service provider, own your personal brand. Definitely use it. All of these things apply to personal brand or business brands. It's the same thing. You don't bring all of yourself. You really define your personal business brand. And I do a little of both with mine, but mostly it's my personal brand. It's who I am as a person, which is why it's CO marketing. But if you are in service, really, really embrace the idea that it's going to be about your personal brand.
Yeah, if you're in the service brand, you are definitely the brand for sure. Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna maybe remove the spotlight, so we'll all just go like this, because you're done with your slides, right?
Yep.
And I just put a note in there, the way I've gotten around it, because at this point, working with women entrepreneurs, I am quite well known in that community, especially my region. So I solve that question or issue by making sure that I'm visible in my business brand. So even in my Instagram bio includes my name, you know, so that people, if they go there, like, what is this? Oh, it's Carrie, right? So, but but the name of my business is not Carrie Ramsey. So there's ways to integrate the two. It's a great question, Claire, and it does back people into some corners sometimes when it is like their name is their business. Like, what if you want to expand one day and hire people, but they only want to work with you? It's, yeah. So interesting. Cornelia, you have a question all the way from the UK. What's up,
No,
love?
I just actually want to contribute something in, that's why professional brand photography has become so important,
Yes.
because people buy from people. They want to see what you look like. And you need to show up. You need to step out in confidence. You need to show them why you're doing this. Tell your story, show behind the scenes. So you need to use good photographs on your social media platforms, your banners, your profile photographs, your business card. You know, if you still print business cards, your face need to be on that business card, whether it's in the front or the back. You need to be so visible that your face, your personality is so linked with your brand that people get to know you and they start to connect with you. Like Shahan has got such amazing energy and passion, and it will come through in her photographs. So for somebody like me that's very passionate about what I do, I'm going to connect to that because that passion is showing, and she shows up consistently with her face somewhere, on a post, on a reel, whatever she's doing. It is become so important.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, you're speaking my live language, and Cheyenne's as well. Cheyenne, do you want to speak to visibility and branding there?
I will admit it's not easy. I actually, Carrie kick-started me with my first workshop. I think it was about 6 months ago now. And it was a big step into visibility for me. I was definitely trying to hide. And it was that kick-starting that I went, okay, we're running workshops constantly until I get comfortable with this. And my business exploded because of it. So it's exactly what Cornelia is saying. Like, if you are your business, which most of us are going to be, do not shy away, because you're wanting people to move into a business relationship with you anyways, right? If you're not confident and comfortable enough to be like, hey guys, over here, and act like a beacon, how are you going to give them the confidence and comfort to move into that with you? You want to really own what you're doing in business.
I love that. And if there might be people on the call, they're like, but I'm not that confident. I need some support. Like, a lot of women on this call are solopreneurs, right? And so we have meetings with ourselves in our heads and we talk ourselves out of it. Like, right now, someone just wrote down, I need to do a photo shoot. And then you're going to talk yourself out of it by tomorrow. Like, that's where if you have a coach, even if, I mean, you can work with Cheyenne in a marketing paid position because we want people to get paid. But also, if you want to work with We Can, of course, all of our services are free as well. We'll probably end up referring you to Cheyenne at some point. But the point is, there are free resources where you can get a coach, right? And you can work with a coach, especially if you're in Kingston, Quinte region. That's our catchment area. But still, like, just, find the accountability partner, find the business bestie who's going to help you to, in those moments, right? To talk you through some things, because we are solopreneurs and we've got to get out of our heads in order to do the thing, right? It's all mindset. Okay, questions. I'm just going to check to see if we have any other questions here. If anyone wants to raise their hand, I don't think I'm seeing any there in the chat per se. If I missed one, let me know. Anybody, any other questions around this idea of branding specifically? This is your show today. Introverts, take a moment. I'm an introvert. You've processed what has happened. Any other thoughts or questions? And Cheyenne has certainly shared some resources for you there in the chat. If for some reason you can't open those resources, by all means, email me and we'll make sure to connect you with Cheyenne so that you can get connected there.
I will also say setting intentions is another really strong way to make sure you take action. That's why I really believe professionally this is how marketing needs to go, but also for ourselves in pushing ourselves into places we're uncomfortable. When we do create those 3 strategies of brand, content, and conversion funnels, It means we're now committed to doing that in service of our business. If we let ourselves and our discomfort with being photographed stop us from implementing our content strategy, we have to really sit back and be like, do I want this business? Am I going to let myself stop myself from what it takes to grow this business? And that becomes a different conversation than, oh, I got distracted by another shiny object.
And through our masterminds that we run, and Cheyenne knows this because she's been in several of them, there's nothing like a business to bring up all the stuff that you believe about yourself or don't believe. And it, like that whole visibility thing, like, can I just say, women, this isn't us. This is socialization. This is generations of people telling us we're too fat, we don't look good enough, we look too old to have our photo on our business. So don't get me going, but that visibility issue you have goes so deep. And hey, welcome to building a business where all the stuff floats to the surface and we have to start processing and working through. And again, this is where, you know, on our own, we think it's just us. Then we get in a mastermind or a workshop like this, or working with a coach, and we realize, oh, this is so much bigger. And I do have the power to move past this thing. Okay, this has been so valuable. Thank you, Cheyenne, as always, for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom with us today. Make sure, folks, that you do connect with folks that are in the Zoom chat. I know that there's a way that you can save the Zoom chat on your own device, but if you, for some reason, don't know how to do that, you can reach out to me and ask for a copy of it later. And I just want to thank you for being a part of today. I did drop a link to our next workshop, which takes place actually not till August 15th. And thank you to June, who noted that it was sold out. I just increased the number of tickets. It's sold. There's lots of seats, but we can certainly accommodate up to 100 women. So we've just increased that if you did try to join it. And if anybody wants to be on our email list, where we put out a note every Monday morning, and it tells you all the things that are coming up: masterminds, speaking circles, workshops, all of that. I don't care where you are in the world, you're welcome to certainly get that newsletter. Just email me back. I would have sent you the link for today, so you have my email. Just reply and say, yeah, can you put me on that email list, even just to get ideas for your business. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up there for today. Thank you, everyone, for participating. It's so wonderful to see the faces, to hear the comments, and to hear from all of you. Have a fantastic week, everyone. We'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.